Good morning, everyone. It's a lovely sunny morning here today, and I have the wonderful and very warm and friendly, I must admit, Sarah Grant here from Sarah Jane Grant, Image Consultant. Yeah, I've known Sarah for quite a while, so I've been to some of her networks, business network meetings, and I'm intrigued because it's such a fabulous event. And I'm intrigued just to find out why you, Sarah, decided to join a business network and then run one yourself. So, welcome, Sarah, and can you tell us a little
Thank
bit
you.
about your journey?
Um, I mean, I always love people, but I remember the very first time I went networking for my business must have been about 14 years ago. And you have that 1 minute pitch and you go round in a circle and you're sitting there, you're thinking, you're repeating what you're going to say. And obviously, since then, I've learned so much. And so, yes, I've been networking for years and years. And I just find it so interesting listening to other people's stories because we know our own story. We don't need to hear that anymore. And I've always been a member of Ladies at Latte because I remember coming to one of yours when you hosted it, didn't you? And
Mm.
I was a member of the Seven Oaks one, and then West Malling because Ali Harold did that one. Then Amanda, my good friend, took over, and then she had to leave. And I love it so much that the ladies there that I took over. But I think with COVID, lots of people got out of the habit of meeting up. They became so isolated at home. Um, so I just think people need to get out of their house more and come to these networking
So,
meetings.
what do they get from networking? I know when I was working with people, everybody had a different result from their membership and their I would say cooperation, but also their collaboration. So, what do you think is the motivating driver for anyone to come along to a network?
Well, I think when you're a woman in a business, a small business, it's having that support from others. I mean, last month there was only, I think, 8 or 9 of us, which is fine because it's good sometimes because I don't do the 1 minute pitch. I mean, it depends how many of us are there, but if was 9 of us, I say you've got at least 5 minutes each, and I don't go round in a circle. I choose somebody, they choose somebody, so you're not getting nervous there. I mean, obviously, we get new people, and we don't start with them first, obviously, because it's a bit daunting. But I just think we support one another, even people that maybe have similar businesses. There's still always support for everybody. And I think last time there was Susan there who does the specializes in cruises. She was talking, and I was saying that would be a great post. That would be a great post. So it's seeing other people's potential in their business and saying to them, well, how about doing this? How about doing that? And I think it's just supporting each other,
Mhm.
and I think we all know what it's like in business and how hard it can be, and it can be lonely as well, especially when you're not. I mean, mine is working with women, so I'm never lonely when I'm working with women, but it's all that admin stuff behind the scenes. And there's another lady there because a lot of women in business, we're quite emotional about our businesses. Where Karen is really good because she's a business coach, but she said, I'm the man behind it because she doesn't come in with the emotion. So it's been really good having her on board because, as we said, we need a bit more testosterone in us to be have that driving force a bit more instead of worrying what other people will think. Am I doing it right? So
So it
forth.
sounds very supportive, as you said, and
Well, it's
encouraging.
lovely.
Yeah, but what are the results? I mean, it's one thing to be lonely and to have that social side, which women are very good at, but also I'd like to encourage women to go to other all kinds of networks because they're very different, aren't they? You say you don't do the minute introduction very often, but I know in large groups when I've been that it's had to be that minute to say who you are and identify yourself so that everyone can gravitate. So, how does the meeting actually run? What happens if I was to bring someone brand new into your business network? What would happen on that day? Imagine there's say 12, 15
But
people there.
it's very relaxed, it's very casual. Or if there's somebody new there, I'll go and say, hello, who are you? What do you do? And introduce people. There's, always coffee on tap. You only pay £3 because it's for the coffee. It's often on round tables. And I always think when it's round, you're much more inclusive of everybody. And I sit and just tell about the meeting because sometimes what I'll do I make sure people are happy with it. And obviously, I'd never pick on a new person. Is that right? I'm going to pick on somebody and you're going to talk for 10 minutes, and people think, oh, but 10 minutes goes so quickly. And it doesn't have to be about your business, it can be something about you and your business because people buy from people. So the more we know about that person, about their life, about what's been going on, whatever you're happy to share. Um, so that's how it starts off. We all start chatting first, and I usually have to say, "Come on, ladies, let's start the meeting." But it is so relaxed. I'm not somebody that wants it to be stiff and starchy. So we'll all do our 3 minutes or whatever it is. It always goes over, and sometimes I have to put my hand up and say, and they say, "Okay, I'll finish now." And then afterwards, then I can always say, are there any events coming on? Is there anything you want to share? But conversation just naturally evolves. And if I think somebody is taking too long, I will sort of gently stop people so that somebody else has a chance.
So
Um,
what kind of things would you recommend a new person or somebody who's not necessarily new to business but new to networking? I met a jeweler once who has been working very busy on a very successful Etsy shop, but she was isolated and she didn't see the value in coming out of that. What would you suggest they want to put across? What kind of things?
Well, if somebody was coming new and saying it was like jewelry, bring your products with you because women love jewelry. They love clothes. There's a lady, Lottie, who does the cabbie. And I say, bring the clothes, bring what you've got because we can put it on a table and all have a look at it. And it's just inspiring them to where they can go because, you might see a piece of jewelry, but if you don't know who's behind that brand, whereas if you know who's behind that brand and you might know their story, you'll think, oh, what a lovely story. I want to support that person
Well,
because
everybody's got a reason why they've gone into business, haven't they? So, do you think it's important to include that when you're speaking to people to explain why you decided on your business?
absolutely, because people like stories and they always want to know why somebody started their business. As you know, I started mine through a divorce. It would never have happened. And I absolutely love what I do. I love my life. So, yeah, stories are a big part of how somebody started their business. And I think that is a huge selling point.
Yeah. And what about service-based businesses? Would you say the ratio is mostly products, or is there a blend of different kind of
No,
services and products?
there's a mixture. I mean, there's Caroline that does Neil's Yard. A lot of it is services, and I've used quite a few. I've used Faye when I had the head massage with this thing goes over your head and the water, and that was lovely. And Alison with her Lomi massage. I've had some bits of Caroline from Neil's Yard, even though I do the Tropic. So just because I do Tropic doesn't mean I'm not going to buy. So I always like to support somebody.
Oh,
So
you
I
touched
think
earlier on like businesses, similar businesses. I know when I was running my business, I did not mind anyone coming from Tropic, say, as you just mentioned them. There was one meeting where we had three Tropic members. One didn't pursue her business and gave up, and the other two came at different times, different months. So does it matter if someone's got exactly the same product?
no, because there is a lady who does Tropic, and I do Tropic. It sits on my website. I've done it for about it must be about 10 years now or 9 years. And I wouldn't intrude on her. but people know I'm there. So I let her, because my main business is my image consultancy and the NLP. Um, and obviously, people resonate more with one person than another. So it all depend.
I found, for instance, with Tropic, that there was one lady who focused on her business, which was gym work, PT work, and used Tropic as a healthy option as makeup. For those of you who don't know what Tropic is, it's a range of um, cosmetics and skincare range, etc. That's vegan. Um, and another lady came because she had had some eczema cleared up through one of the skincare products and was very much on a medical stance. So I always say to people, and I wonder if you agree with this, that because the product's the same doesn't mean it's going to be sold the same or the emphasis is going to be on the same things. Therefore, you're going to attract different customers. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yes. And I remember when I was started out with Tropic, people used to say, I love the way you don't sell Tropic. So my thing with Tropic is because it's 100% natural.
We need to
And
get them to pay us for this advert for them.
that Tropic. um, so yes, I mean everyone is different the way they come across. You know, you could get five Tropic people, five image consultants. We all do exactly the same. But the person that you'll go to is the one that you resonate with, the one that you feel safe with, you trust.
I'm thinking of a few image consultants I met when I first started my business, and everyone had a different style, but also
Yes.
they had a different vocational approach. So one was very much working in London, the other one was very much weddings and celebratory events. And how would you describe your image consultancy? What's your market? Who's your audience?
Most of my ladies are midlife because as you know, I'm 66, nearly 67 this year, and you. And so a lot of my women are midlife because I know what it's like when you put on some weight. Your boobs often get bigger when you get older. Our skin changes, you know, all those. So I can empathize with women when they're going through that change. And obviously, I do the retreats, which is what I love because everyone knows I love cooking and baking, and I love that nurturing feeling. I like to make it what I call cozy.
So tell us
Um,
about a retreat then. If someone was coming to you for a retreat for image consultancy, how does that work? Because I don't think that's very common.
no, I am the only person that does it. I've Googled it loads of times. So they'd come to me maybe, it doesn't have to be a weekend, it can be midweek. They arrive at 10 o'clock, there's always coffee, fresh coffee, it's never instant. And there'll always be homemade cakes. I often make homemade bread. So that morning they start with a full colour analysis. Then it'll be lunch and it's always homemade soup. And then it will be a style analysis in the afternoon. But I always get ladies to bring with them 4 or 5 items they love, or 4 or 5 items that they don't love, because then we explore, and this is when the NLP comes in, why they love it and why they don't love it. Um, so it's a lot about going into their mindset. I mean, often ladies have cried, but I always say they've been good tears because they've cleared something. Um, and then in the evening, it's always a two-course meal. Again, it's always cooked by me, but a lot of preparation has been done, so I'm not spending ages in the kitchen. And they can sit with me and have a glass of wine. Um, and then the evening goes where the evening goes. I don't orchestrate the evening at all. It's just wherever the conversation goes. And then the next day, because my background from many years ago was hairdressing, and we do makeup because I used to volunteer for Look Good Feel Better doing makeup. So the next morning we all turn up with no makeup on. They've washed their hair. I teach them how to blow dry their hair because You can go to a hairdresser's, but they never teach you. So I'm empowering these ladies to when they go home, they can do it themselves, or they've got the tools. And then they have a makeup tutorial. So again, I don't do it, but they follow what I'm doing. I'm not somebody that wants to do heavy makeup. It's makeup they can do every day, or if they want to do eyeshadow, they can do it. And then again, it's lunch, and they go when the time is right. I don't say, right, lunch is over, off you go. It just evolves.
Hmm. Can I just say, one of the reasons I asked you to describe your business is because if anyone in the audience, hello everyone out there, if you are thinking of joining a business meeting, a business network, yes, you may go to one where you only get a minute to make your pitch. But if you go to something that's more suitable for you, or this is more suitable for you, Sarah's just given you a great example then of how to describe your business and include yourself in your business. And so that someone could, I don't know how you feel, how have you responded to Sarah during that moment? She took about 3 or 4 minutes to describe her business. And I think you've got a real understanding of what she's offering and what you might get from it. So, yes, Sarah's been doing it a long time, haven't you, Sarah? But this is what you learn from going to network meetings and
You
being
do.
amongst other people running businesses.
And I remember some people have turned up. There was one young girl, and she was really fearful, but she was brilliant. And you need to tell people how good they were. Oh, amazing! When you know it's truthful, it's got to be honest. So never be scared of networking, because as women, we're there to embrace you. We're not there to, oh, who's she sort of thing. It's completely. We are so friendly.
And where do
And
you meet, Sarah? What is a latte? What is Women in Business Latte meeting, network meeting? And where do you meet? Where could people come to find you?
we are at the West Morning Golf Club. It's
That's in
always
Kent. Kent.
in Kent,
Yeah.
and it's always the second Tuesday of the month. Um, yes, you pay £3. We're there for 2 hours. Sometimes, often, because we're chatting so much, it goes over. But there's lots of advice there, on all different levels. It might be a personal advice as well, or
And
not advice, but
people meet, don't they, and stay on afterwards for coffee and tea and invite clients to meet them there. And
yeah,
don't be put off by the surroundings. These hotels and golf clubs, etc., are wanting you to come along. They're not going to look down their noses at you and think, why are you here? They're going to want you to come on, and they like business networks, don't they?
yeah, and it's in a corner which is away from everybody else. Um, yeah, I just absolutely love it. It was funny because when you asked me to describe my business and then you spoke about it, I thought, I hadn't really thought when you were asking me, I just described it. And I also think when people ask you questions, you naturally respond. So often when we're networking, we're doing it, we're often asking that person questions, which opens them up even more without even realizing it.
Mm,
So it takes all that stress away. So,
mm.
ladies, if you are on the fence, do come along, because we are lovely. We always say we're lovely.
And latte business networks are nationwide, aren't they? So there
They,
should be a Ladies Who Latte near you somewhere if you'd like to find one.
yes, because it was Mary that started it. Yeah, and I'm not one that, when you've got the business meetings, breakfast, 6 o'clock, you have to sit there, you have to recommend somebody. That's not who we are. I mean, it's fine if it's for you, but it's not for me. I'm much more heart driven, how we're feeling. Um, yeah,
Hmm. Yeah,
yeah,
and each latte is very different because it's very much a network is driven by the host or the
yeah,
owner or the organizer. I used to run, just as a point of interest, I used to run two different types of network. One was a business network for any business. A lot of men came with services, financial services, trade services. And there was also a lot of women who were also doing a wide variety of things from photography to and business things that you need for your business. You can find at business networks, can't you? And I also did a latte and ran a latte as well, which was all female, which was very supportive. But there are different types of um, network. So, Sarah, can you tell us how anyone can here today can get in touch with you? What's the best way for them to find you?
I suppose email me or go to my website, which is Sarah Jane Grant Image Consultant, or I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. So it's www.sarahjanegrant.co.uk. And I always offer a complimentary Zoom. Don't feel that you ever have to take my services. I've had many a chat with people, and
Mm.
sometimes just having a chat with them on the NLP side has helped them. And,
Before we finish, then, what are the kind of things to watch out for in a network? If you're coming to a network full of enthusiasm to start with, what are the big do's and don'ts? What would you suggest they don't do, and what would you suggest they do?
I think they've got to be honest and upfront and integrate with us. Be open. Don't there are things don't do. Just don't sit there and hide, because if you hide, we're not going to see you. Um, yes, I think just be open and honest and step forward. Don't be afraid. I know you're going to be the first time you're going to be thinking, oh, but yeah, don't be afraid and be forward and yeah, just chat to people like you would. Forget that you're at a networking working event, that you're just with a group of ladies having a conversation. And that's
Mm.
what it is at the end of the day.
Well, some people are very introverted, aren't they? And some people are extrovert. I think you can guarantee on the extroverts to find you if you're new, but they may try selling to you. So, how do you feel about introverts coming along to a meeting? Would they be, looked after, shall we say, or what would you
Always
advise
looked
them?
after. Because there was one girl, I said she was young, she said she was an introvert. And actually, when I started chatting to her, she was only about, I can't remember if she was 27. She was lovely and she was so good at speaking. So sometimes you think you're an introvert, which obviously they most probably are. But I think if people are nurturing you along the way, it just makes it easier for you. That's
Mm.
what I'd say.
Well, one of the best advice I would give someone is not to go in there directly to take away sales on that day and not to be disappointed. If you're too pushy, people will step back and watch you longer.
Collaboration, relationships, can make new friends. Don't go in with high expectations, just go in with a very open heart and see what happens. I think that's what you've got to do.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much then, Sarah. And I hope you'll go and find Sarah on her website. All the details are in the comments below and in the descriptor of the video. And yeah, we've had a lovely morning. The sun's still shining. I've noticed the sun gleam up your room every now and then.
It
Mine's the
is
same.
absolutely glorious. And also, because as you know, I've moved. If a lady's come on a retreat, I've got one in March. I've just got one lady coming. I can do two, but I've moved. So the house is smaller, but I have a stream in my garden. So they can sit and dangle their feet in the stream. Might be a bit cold this time of year, but they can do it.
That's very romantic. Great photo opportunities too, I'm sure, for
Yes.
everyone's business. Lovely. Well, thank you very much then, Sarah. And I'll just
Thank
say
you,
goodbye to everyone.
Victoria. Bye bye,
See you again
everyone.
soon.
And do come and join us at West Morning Ladies and Latte.
Lovely. Look it up, folks, and see you again. Bye.